Help support our coverage through Amazon Prime. Get free music with Prime Music, TV, movies, and documentaries with Prime Video, and free games with Prime Gaming. For this and a whole lot more, go to PLUGHITZlive.com/prime. Well, with that, I think our next guest is here. Hello.
Hi there.
How are you doing today?
Not too bad at all. And you?
I'm doing fine. Go ahead and introduce yourself for me.
Thanks very much. Well, my name is Danny Ford. I'm with Atlantic Therapeutics. I'm delighted to be speaking with you this evening. And I suppose that if I could tell you a little bit more about who we are and what we do, we have a product called Innovo. And Innovo is a unique solution for the treatment of stress urinary incontinence, which may not be a particularly comfortable topic, but it is a problem that affects a lot of women and a lot of men. And we feel we can do something really profoundly different to help with that situation.
Yeah, we've had people talk about this problem before. You're right. It affects a lot more people than people think. So where do you fit into the treatment process?
Great question. So I suppose when you look at this problem, it's an uncomfortable one to talk about. It is a bit of a taboo topic. And I think for that reason, yes, some people who have this problem will go and speak to their physical therapist about it. They will go and speak to their clinician about it. But a lot of people, they feel embarrassed to do that. It's not really a life-threatening condition. It's not, a condition that's going to cause you a lot of health problems, but it is very much a life-limiting condition. So people who have this problem tend to just simply put up with it. They hide it. They tend to mask the symptoms by wearing pads, by wearing liners, and really not admitting to anybody else or even to themselves that this is something that they're living with. And I think that's
Sure.
where we feel Innovo can step in. So I suppose the beauty of Innovo is that it is a wearable, completely non-invasive, home-based therapy, and we're able to sell it direct to consumers in the US and elsewhere. It's
Okay.
clinically proven as well. It is a medical device, so it does have that strong backing of clinical research. But I think what's really advantageous about it is the fact that we are able to educate people about this technology online. They're able to purchase it and use it discreetly in the comfort of their own home.
Okay. And so this fits into the treatment as opposed to the detection or whatnot. This is actually designed uh to help make the problem lessened.
Correct indeed. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not. It's going beyond kind of monitoring the situation. It's actively treating the situation. So
Wow.
what the product looks like, it looks like a pair of exercise shorts, of cycling shorts.
Okay.
I suppose the intelligence there is that what we've done is we've got 8 large conductive ink electrodes, integrated into those shorts. And what we do then is to send muscle stimulation into those pelvic floor muscles. Those pelvic floor muscles have a really important job to do in preventing those unwanted leaks. So every time you cough, sneeze, or laugh, those pelvic floor muscles should kick in, contract those muscles, and stop that involuntary leakage. What Innovo is doing is strengthening and activating those pelvic floor muscles. So what you do, you wear it for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. We recommend initially for 12 weeks. And it's a bit like going to your pelvic floor gym, if you want to call it
Sure.
that. You're contracting and relaxing those muscles. Obviously, over time, you get a training effect. And what it is that you're better able to activate those muscles when you're sneezing, coughing, laughing, exercising, whatever it may be.
Okay. Understood. So it's the idea is to retrain and re-strengthen muscles that are not quite as used as other muscles in the body, right? That
Correct. Yeah,
that
yeah.
that
Well, I can
that
I can
just
tell you,
that
I
just
suppose
lessen over time.
that's correct. Yeah, I
Okay.
suppose, in terms of how do people come to have this, deficiency or weakness in their muscles? Well, for us men, I suppose it's mostly as a result of prostate surgery. So unfortunately, the problem is a lot more common for women. So they will encounter this problem, I suppose, as a result of pregnancy, childbirth, and also as a result of hormonal changes during the menopause. So what you have then is the muscles become weakened, they become atrophied, they're no longer able to properly activate when you get that moment of high intra-abdominal pressure when you're sneezing or coughing or laughing. And that's where Innovo can step in. It takes those weakened muscles and physically exercises them. When you're using the product, you can feel the product physically contracting, relaxing your pelvic floor muscles. It's important to say it's not at all painful. The user controls, the intensity of the stimulation, but it does feel like a good, strong workout of your pelvic floor. And
Right.
we're seeing great results. The product has been on the market in one form or another for about the past 7 years. But more recently, I suppose we've got our clearance to market in the US. And I suppose that's always been the big prize for us as a company. So we're very excited to be out there telling the story about Innovo and introducing this to women. It is just indicated for women at the moment in the US,
Okay.
but introducing it to women across the US. So it's great.
That's really fantastic. So it's available now.
That's correct. It is
All
indeed.
right.
Yeah.
And what kind of price point are we looking at on this?
So normally we're at $449. We're actually discounting at the moment down to $349.
Okay.
And that is definitely a premium price point, but I think it's important to remember it's a medical device. It's got very strong, dedicated clinical research behind it. And I think the other aspect to this, of course, is that if you have women who are simply managing this problem, buying their Depends or their Poise or whatever pads they may be buying on a weekly basis, the costs that very, very quickly mount up, and you're using
Right.
those for life. You're not using those as a kind of an intervention. Those are with you forever. So I
Hmm.
suppose that's how we kind of pitch our price point is, yes, it's a kind of premium price point. We do have some payment by installment options in place there as well. But really when you weigh that up against what your outlay would be on pads over the course of your lifetime, we think it's a pretty reasonable price to pay for an Innovo.
Yeah, for sure. Um, okay. And so if people want more information on this, which I imagine there are going to be a lot of people who are gonna want more information about on this, either just the product itself, or even some of the background information, the research behind it. How can they get that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as I say, I suppose one of the advantages is that we're able to market Innovo direct to consumers. So we
Mhm.
do that through our website, which is myinnovo.com. Perhaps I could spell that myinnovo.com. You'll be able to find all the information about the product there. As I said, the clinical research, the all important reviews and recommendations, so you can see how others have experienced our product. And every piece of information you could possibly want about the product is there. We're also selling through Amazon as well. Really, the website's the best place to go to get all of the background to the product, what it is, how it works, and how it's a brand that you can trust.
Sure. Okay. And oh, I had a question and it has completely gone out of my head. Don't you hate it when that happens?
It happens. It happens.
Especially when you've been on the air all day.
Yeah, yeah.
um oh yeah, are you guys working with any like of the healthcare providers or anything like that, maybe insurances to see if they'll accept it as part of the plan?
So that's a great question. So I suppose firstly we should say you're able to access this under your health savings account. But on the question of insurance, I suppose we're back to the situation where if you go through insurance, you're then relying on a healthcare professional to refer or prescribe
Right.
you to this product. So you then have to kind of overcome that mental barrier of admitting this problem to somebody else.
True.
So I suppose it's something that we see ourselves pursuing in future. There are reimbursement codes available for products like Innovo, but simply down to the fact that most women who have this problem, um, really only about 1 in 10 women who have this problem will ever go to their healthcare professional about it. It really is
Okay.
kind of one of these deep taboos where people are just looking to manage the problem. And I suppose that's the conversation we want to step into initially. But
Okay.
into the
Makes sense.
future, it's certainly something that we're going to explore. I think for now, our focus is on growing our direct-to-consumer business, on scaling that, and once we've got that kind of growth trajectory in play, then I'm sure we'll be revisiting the insurance market for Innovo as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's always interesting the places where taboos fall into
Mhm.
society, where conversations are uncomfortable, and hopefully this can help alleviate even necessarily having to have the conversation, because you can market it direct to consumer.
Well, yeah, no, that's exactly it, and I think that's really what we see ourselves doing over the next couple of years is getting the conversation going. The pads companies has done this fantastic job of normalizing this condition, of saying to women and to men to some extent, if you have this problem, it's fine. You can just hide it, and
Mhm.
you'll know about it, but nobody else will, and you can just accept it as a normal part of getting older, and life will go on. I think what we want to do is to entirely upturn that conversation and say, this may be what your mother's generation accepted, were told, and accepted. You don't have to do this. You can go back to having the quality of life that you expect. You don't have to kind of stand forlornly by as everybody else is jumping up and down on the trampoline or doing that exercise in that Zumba class. You can join in. You can get to a point where your pelvic floor muscles are in full health again, and you're not having to kind of live with the mental anxiety that this condition presents.
Gotcha. That makes sense. In our staff chat, I see a comment. It ain't easy being human.
No, I mean some of this human stuff that we have to contend with is, yeah, it's pretty tricky. But I think that's the beauty, I suppose, of the technology that we have is that we are smart enough, I suppose, to look for solutions to these problems. And I think it's been great over the past couple of days to see how technology is addressing all sorts of solutions. We're glad to be playing our little role in addressing this pretty embarrassing one. But it's good to be able to offer a pretty unique solution, I think, as well.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully this can be a part of destigmatizing the situation because, like you said, you don't have to live with it. There are ways to make it better.
Yeah, it's always funny, whenever I get a conversation going about this, usually for the first 30 seconds, people are like, "Oh my God." And then after that, you start to see people, well, actually, wait, there's a solution. We can do something about this. And I think the relief that people feel, when they take on a product or a brand like ours, and it actually does, it fulfills the promise. It means it's a very, very powerful mission for us. So yeah, definitely looking forward to, as I say, introducing Innovo across the US and beyond. And I suppose bringing the benefits to all the people that are suffering with this condition.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate you coming and talking to me today. Obviously, since it's a topic that people don't necessarily want to talk about, uh, being able to not have to talk about it and hear hear about the solution here is great.
Well, I appreciate you giving us a platform as well. And yeah, if I could give everybody a little bit of homework, if you know somebody that may have this condition, do go out and tell them about Innovo, myinnovo.com. We'd love to see you there.
For sure. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much. Really nice speaking with you.
You too. Have a good one.
Bye now. Bye bye.
I hope you enjoyed that interview, and if you did, make sure you check out some of the more than 100 interviews we conducted during the virtual CES 2021 coverage. And of course, subscribe here on YouTube, hit the notification bell to learn when we post new content and when we go live.